Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just finished watching Hocus Pocus 2. Once again starring Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy, and also returning with Doug Jones. And with this film set 29 years after the events of the original film, the Sanderson Sisters have returned to Salem once again to try and take revenge on the descendant of a reverend. All while it seems like a new generation of witches are trying to stop them for good this time. But is it as good as the original? Well, let's take a look, shall we? So the story once again follows the Sanderson sisters, only this time we go back to when they were young children as opposed to when they were hanged, where they happen to have a grudge against a certain reverend whose descendant happens to be the mayor of Salem. So when we have our new main characters, who are a group of girls who apparently practice witchcraft, and when they happen to accidentally summon the Sanderson sisters to Salem 29 years after they were last summoned, they decide to take revenge on the mayor of Salem while also trying to create a spell to make their magic spells even more powerful. All with the help of one of their fanboys who happened to see them back in 1993. But that's all I'll say about the story. The story here basically does retread a lot of the old ground of the original film. It has an opening scene that recounts some of the witches' backstory. It has a lot of effects that do feel like a Disney Channel original film when it comes to their budget. It has the musical number with the Sanderson sisters, though the two musical numbers they have are not the same as the original I Put a Spell on You number. And a lot of the comedy has sort of been updated for the 2020 standards with jokes revolving around smartphones, with jokes revolving around Walgreens, and, stuff that's of more the modern day as opposed to the 90s. Though this film clearly does show a lot of respect for the original, it also happens to feel like a film that is, going through the motions when it comes to another Hocus Pocus film. A lot of shtick with not a lot new added. But, to be fair, the original Hocus Pocus wasn't exactly a masterpiece either. It basically was a guilty pleasure of a film, and that's how I see this film as well. Mainly because the three actresses playing the witches, Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker, are easily the best part of the film. I mean, their writing can fluctuate from genuinely funny to actually pretty groan-worthy, but they're always on. They're always doing something to make the writing at least enjoyable. Spinning around, doing a dance, getting into a huddle, they're just always on. Even 29 years later, they haven't lost their touch. So even if the main characters are a lot more bland this time around, and even if the story seems a bit more forced than the original, the Sanderson sisters still make this film a worthwhile watch. And, ultimately, it feels like it's a lot better than it could have been, considering it's a film that doesn't really need to exist. Heck, even Doug Jones as Billy Butcherson manages to get more laughs in this film than he does in the original, probably because he's allowed to speak for a little bit. So I don't think there should ever be a Hocus Pocus 3, but for a return that isn't completely necessary, this one is at least enjoyable. That's why I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. See you next time.